There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Okay, sing it out now. I release and I let go. Woo! Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No, 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 no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh yeah, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes! Thank you.
Whew. Man, I'm tired already. Actually, it's supposed to do the opposite, and it did. It brought some energy to the room, it brought some energy to me, energized everything about what we're doing here at Unity of Pasadena. You know, that is a good example of a takeover song, meaning the person singing it takes over the whole place, like a takeover robbery. You know, so like everything gets taken over by the song. No, great job, great job. Thank you very much. And thank all of you, too, for joining in. That's what we want. So I'm Reverend Greg Dorst, Reverend Greg Dorst. And I'm so happy to be here today. You know how I feel about Sundays, don't you? How do I feel about Sundays? I love Sundays, yeah. That's a great saying, and I really, really love to participate in it because when I do, I actually start to feel the love that I have for Sundays. Isn't that cool? I love it. And what do I love about Sundays? Well, I love you guys. I love the connection that I have with each and every one of you. I love the connection with us as a group. I love the connection with the community at large. I love this beautiful space we're in, this magnificent sanctuary for Unity of Pasadena. It just brings that spiritual feeling, you know? You recognize that you're connected with and one with Spirit, and we love that. So I want to welcome anybody who's here that's new or has not been here for a while. And so, you know, you sit front row if that's the truth. It's so good to see you, Audrey. I love it. Fantastic. And I know we're going to have some more people come in, so when they come in and sit down, just don't be surprised because, you know, some people take longer to warm up on a day like today because it is kind of cold out there. But we get to wear jackets we never knew we could wear again, you know, get deep into the closet. Just the other day I was telling somebody this. I was looking through one of our closets and I saw some things in there, the heavy coats, that I thought, well, maybe I should get rid of those, you know? This is California. And it just doesn't get cold enough to wear them. And then it wasn't more than like 24 hours that it turned to 32 degrees. I did this. You know, we're going to be talking about mind action today, which is one of the principles. It's the third unity principle, and we've got some really fun things to talk about with regard to moving thought, or the action of your mind, and creating what's in front of you, creating what you're experiencing. Because we create our lives through the way we think, through the way we feel, and the things that we believe. So it's going to be a wonderful thing today. Welcoming the live stream people. I'm so glad you're here. You know, you're coming in from all over the country, and we really, really appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to do that, because we want to uplift you as well. We hold you in our heart. If you've gone somewhere else where we can't find you all the time like we could before, if you're in some place cold, we want to warm your heart. And we know that that's happening out there. Colleen, I'm talking to you. Yeah. Lake effect snow, lake effect wind. Oh my gosh. Yeah, crazy out there. But we love you. So it's great to be here. We're going to start, as we normally do, with prayer. And so we have a gong. Marty, would you ring that gong for prayer? A little louder, one more time. Go, hard. Yeah. And that means that we're going to sink into our space, into our seats, allow our minds to relax around what it is that is going on right now. Just taking a moment to release all of the things it took to get here. And the way we start that is to take a deep breath. And we release it. Let's do that one more time. Take a deep breath. And release it. And so just recognize the presence of God right here in this very space. The presence of spirit, of the universal mind, whatever it is that you want to call it, whatever it is that's most comfortable for you. Recognize that presence as it flows in, around, and through your body. As it becomes that thing that thinks through your mind. Recognize that presence as you feel it in this very space. For it is here as you, for you. We recognize that because we know there is only one. There is only one thing. And it expresses as each and every one of us. It expresses as our feelings, our thoughts, and our beliefs. It expresses in a way that allows us to be creative, and we just revel in that. And so we're here today on high purpose, knowing that understanding these things and learning how to use these principles is our highest path to transformation. We're so thankful that we have a space where we can meet. We're so thankful that we have people that set this up for us. Our board of trustees works tirelessly to make sure that the lights are on and everyone has a great experience, and we're so thankful for that. We're thankful for the people who greet, for the people who do PowerPoint and sound. We're so thankful for the live streaming ability here, and we're thankful for our musicians. Well, today, it's Mitch, and we're so thankful for you, Mitch. The talent you bring is incomprehensible sometimes. It's great. And we're so thankful for our prayer chaplains who hold the light for each of us, who hold this space and know it as a holy place. And so we're just going to have a great, good time, and I affirm that right now that it's already happening. It's underway. With this great Thanksgiving, I release it into the law of mind, knowing that it is already done. Please join me by saying, and so it is. Amen. Whew, thank you very much, you guys. That brought me to that space where I'm ready to hear a song. Come on, Mitch.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Be careful what you say. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. and every thought becomes our prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, the tools that we create with. Our thoughts are prayers that spirit resonates with. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of mindfulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer.
So watch this. Unity blessing. I didn't forget you yet, Sandy. I'd like you to join us in our unity blessing before we move on to our daily word. Please join us. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are. We also have a statement of faith I'd like you to join us in. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good omnipotence, and I am one with that presence and power. Oh, now I feel complete. Thanks, Sandy. So our daily word today. Trish, would you come on up and thrill us? Thank you.
Good morning. Today's daily word for January 14th is serve. I bring God's love into the world through service. I don't need special skills to be of service. I have willing hands and an open heart, channels of God's love to be directed wherever they are needed most. This impulse to serve is my compassionate nature, seeking expression. I respond to the needs around me by doing what I can to help. I do not think of reward or recognition. Just being of service fills my heart. Serving is a wonderful way to feel close to God. My loving heart is open, my hands are busy, and my life feels purposeful when I am doing what I can to brighten one person's life or to make the world a better place. I feel God's presence strongly as I serve and share the love and care of the divine. The biblical verse was taken from Matthew 25, 35th verse. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. Thank you.
So most of you know that we have mixed up the service a little bit. I mean, we're doing something a little bit different, and last week was the first week that we did it, and I really, really enjoyed that last week. I mean, it brings a fresh new feel, and it brings a new element to this service as well. I thought the 3-minute question would be a good way to kind of liven up what it is that you guys want to hear, what it is that you guys have questions about. So we decided as a group to go ahead and add this feature to the service. And it involves a vase, and it involves people's questions, and it involves writing them down and placing them here in this vase. And I get a chance to pull one out, and I get 3 minutes to talk about it. I mean, somebody's going to signal me and say, "You're done, Greg," or shut off my microphone or something within 3 minutes. I mean, this is quite a challenge for me, by the way, just because I've already spent 3 minutes talking about only spending 3 minutes. You got the timer going? All right. So let's see if this is even possible. Let's see if it's possible. Here's one. Oh, what should I do now? What's next after enlightenment? Ooh, I love that, isn't it? And so I take it that the person that wrote this is the enlightened one in here, and we will see the glow, so you can't hide. So, transformation is our goal. We really want to step into that next level of being, next level of thinking. We want to be the greater yet to be right now. And when do you start moving toward becoming that greater yet to be? I think you do it right now. So the goal in much of religious teaching is enlightenment. And it makes it sound like once you reach that goal, it's a done deal. You are enlightened and forever you'll walk 1 foot off the ground. Everybody will know who you are. You'll never get angry again. It's just there's that idea that enlightenment as a goal means that you are that now and forever you shall be. But the truth is that enlightenment is that place we have to find every day. And it's easy to fall off that mountain, or the top step. It's easy to slip back to the old way of thinking, the old way of doing things, the old way of being. And so enlightenment's not just something that happens to you and then you are forever that. It's something we do every day. So take that step every day, that place where you're in mind, that higher Greg is what I'm always looking for, and for each of you, that might be the place where you want to go too. There's a lower Greg for sure. There's a lower Greg. But there's that higher Greg, and I strive to be that each day. And for me, that's enlightenment, that everyday feeling that I've reached that next level, that space where I'm comfortable and feel one with Spirit. So I got to remind myself every day that I am that which God is, because sometimes I don't feel like that. Sometimes it doesn't look like that in my life, but it's the truth. And as I remind myself, I'm on my way to enlightenment. Did I make it?
Yes, you did. It's better faster than last week.
How many minutes?
2 minutes, 13 seconds.
2 minutes, 13 seconds. Wow. So, not bad, huh? Yeah. Yeah. So she says like a sensei does, when you're in the dojo, finish it. So thank you very much. I really enjoy this 3-minute question. So what I want you to do when you get a chance is write one out. It'll be back on the back table, and just stick it in there, and I'll pull it out and see what we got. So, all right. Well, we are ready right now for meditation. Luann?
Good morning. As usual, when I get up here, my head's already spinning from all the stuff I've already heard. In a good way. One story about weather. I was at the doctor, and there was 3 of us standing at the automatic doors, looking out at the deluge of rain, right? No hats, no umbrellas, no jackets, nothing. I said, this is LA. I mean, come on, we don't need that stuff, right? So today's theme is thought, and of course I have to do research, and the revealing word says that thought is this is very academic, a result of mental vibration or impulse that is capable of expressing itself in form. It's like, okay, so what do I do with that? Then I go to Eric Butterworth, who speaks English, and he puts warmth into, a lot of these things. He says there's only one intelligence, and that our thoughts are the cause of the problems we face. We need to wake up the consciousness that already knows the truth and gets, quote, Satan behind us, as Jesus did when he faced negative thoughts. Now, Satan's not a bad guy. Satan is our, left shoulder yapping in our ear. Discipline and practice is the way to get he says, discipline and practice is the way to get our mind to mind us. He recommends identifying ourselves with infinite divine mind each day. And I really like that, trying to get our mind to mind us, and, a long time ago when I started this metaphysical journey, someone said, well, it's all about thought control. And I went, oh my God. I'm in for it. And I've also recently started taking the Course in Miracles again, and the one this morning was just wonderful. What I heard was that Jesus had his body on earth, but his mind was in heaven. And I really like that. I went, oh, okay, I get it. And, his mind was spiritual. It was, not of this earth. And so let's close our eyes now and sink into the silence and realize that we already know. We are still and know. Thank you. Have a great day.
I used to think that I could not go on, and life was nothing but an awful song. But now I know the meaning of true love by leaning on the everlasting arms. If I can see it, I can do it. If I just believe it and think it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. See me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I was on the verge of breaking down. Sometimes the silence seems so loud, There are miracles in life I must achieve, but first I know it starts inside of me. If I can see it, then I can be it. If I just believe it and think it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through an open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. 'Cause I believe in me. Whoa, if I can see it, then I can do it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe we can soar. See us running through an open door. I believe we can fly. I believe we can fly. I believe I can fly. If I just spread my wings and fly, I believe I can fly. I can fly. I can fly. If I just spread my wings, I can fly.
Yeah, I agree. I'm part of that standing ovation, Mitch. Thank you very much. Thank you for picking that song, too. You know, Mitch picks the music. I give him the theme of what today is going to be about, and he decides what will probably be the best thing to support that. And he's always right on, isn't he? I mean, you're just right on, man. Thank you. So you guys see all the stuff I brought up with me? Yeah, I mean, I'm like somebody who overpacks for a couple of days vacation, you know? I mean, I couldn't possibly talk about this stuff in 20 minutes, but I bring it all anyway, you know? I mean, just so that it's up here, maybe it makes me feel more comfortable or something, you know, I don't know. But I am going to use some of it. You know, I'm going to use some of these things that others have written down because we're getting back to what I would call the fundamentals, and I'm calling this January series the fundamentals. So we, last week, did the first and second principles. The God is, I am ideas. And I had fun. I mean, I know that each of you did too, just knowing that there's only one thing and that's what you are. I mean, you are that which God is. You are that which Spirit is. Everything that unfolds in your life is Spirit-driven, even when it feels like you're the one that's driving the bus, because Spirit is working through you as you. And this is where the higher self really helps us, you know, this understanding that we have a higher self. We can utilize it. We can use that enlightened self to change the outcome from mediocre to fantastic. So we're on the third principle, and the third principle is this. Unity's 5 principles are what we're talking about this month, and the third principle is called thought into form. Human beings create their experiences by the activity of their thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. All right. So, what is it that our thoughts are comprised of? I mean, if they're that important, everything that we see in our lives has its beginning in this thing that we call thought, has its beginning in our minds. What is it that's comprised of? Well, not only do we talk about this in unity and in all New Thought traditions, but scientists talk about this too. I mean, you can pull up any modern day scientist and they will, or old authors, William James, he believes believed that as we think, so shall we be. He believed that whatever was happening up here in our minds is what was showing up in our lives. How we were acting and reacting to life begins up here. So we know today, though, through some of the scientists and some of the knowings of our forefathers in unity, which they're really quite prescient. I mean, what they did was they saw what was really happening and said these things before the scientists have said them. What the scientists are saying today is that you have a personality, and it is comprised of certain things that happen in the mind, and that's thought. It's your consciousness. And that personality is comprised of what you're thinking, the emotion behind it, and your belief system. So you are, as you show up here today, your thoughts, the emotion behind it, and what you believe. And in order to become a different person, all you need to do is change your thoughts, the emotion behind it, and what you believe. And you can actually change the way you come off in the world. You can actually be that person that you'd like to be. Who do I need to be in order to be a happy person? That's a good question, isn't it? Who do I need to be in order to be a happy person? Well, I need to be a person who actually sees the world in a way that is light rather than dark. I have to be a person that understands that everything in this life is a positive outcome in some way, shape, or form. The glass is half full rather than half empty for me. I need to be in that realm. I need to be able to adjust my thinking to take what would ordinarily be difficult and unsatisfactory to me and make it easy and wonderful. Is that possible? Do you believe that's possible? You believe you can make a change in that way? I do too. I believe you can make a change in that way. And here's how this is happening right here on the ground. I mean, in the real world, this is how it's happening, and I'm going to give you an example. So Jackie, and I get emotional when I talk about the things that she actually does for people. Very, very interesting stuff in the way that she looks at it. Jackie took a trip down to see Joy. And Joy, I think you might be on live streaming here. Hello, Joy. If you are, great. All right. Well, Joy is down in Huntington Beach now. And from where we live, that's a hard drive. I mean, it's hard to get down to Huntington Beach. I don't care what day it is or what time of day it is. It's hard to get down there. You're going to hit traffic. And you're going to have people that are bothering you and a lack of control, which upsets you. And I mean, all those things can happen when you're on the road on a long drive. And so Jackie decided she was going to go down and see Joy. And she could have been thinking to herself, doggone it, this traffic is going to be killer. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. She could have been thinking about all the miserable things that could happen on the road, and that could overtake her. But do you know what she was doing down there? What she was doing was she was taking some ingredients and Joy's old recipe for a certain type of cookie. And Joy and Jackie were going to use her brand new kitchen down there to make these cookies that she hadn't made in years. And this is something that Joy had said to Jackie, gosh, I wish I could make those cookies again. And Jackie went, all right, here's something we can do. So instead of a tough drive, it is a trek of love. You know, instead of being something that might be something she doesn't want to do or finds hard to do, it's something she can't wait to do. And so she went down and they baked these cookies, and Jackie sent me some pictures, and they both had their aprons on, and they're beautiful little cookies, you know, and she brought some home too, and she even brought some to us today for us to eat. So now that's an example of how you take something that could otherwise be troublesome for you and turn it into something that is just a joy, that is magnificent in nature. And so I just love that you guys did that. She did the same thing for my father. My father was 92 years old when he passed away, and he wanted one thing before he passed away. He wanted to go to New Mexico to these hot springs that he loved. Oh, let me tell you, this was a tough trip because he was in a wheelchair, and he had all sorts of medications that had to be packed. There were all sorts of arrangements that had to be made to get out in the middle of this desert area where these hot springs were. And Jackie decided she was going to take him on that trip. And she had to do it alone because I couldn't do it. I had other responsibilities. I couldn't go for that period of time in those days. And she decided she'd take that on. And, you know, that's when I recognized that for her, that was a trip of love. That was an expedition around love rather than in her mind something that was really, really hard to do. And I could see myself making those adjustments. You know, I could see myself deciding that this day is going to be a day that I get to go someplace and see people that I am so happy to see. I could just adjust everything that I know in my mind that's negative into something positive. I can do that. We have the ability to do that. I mean, we have the ability to change our thoughts, which will change our emotions around that thinking. And eventually, it'll change our belief system about whether it can be done with love and joy and compassion and wonder. And so I looked to some of our forebearers in unity for some ideas around how they thought about these things. And you guys may be fans of Emily Cady. I know you are, Steve. Anybody here ever heard of Emily Cady? A lot of you, of course. Well, one of her most important books was Lessons in Truth, and this is it right here. And I really appreciate it and enjoy it. And quite honestly, for me, when I ask people who are in this tradition, ministers, what brought them to this place where they really wanted to study unity principles and to express them to other people, they oftentimes say, well, you know, I just happened upon this book, Lessons in Truth by Emily Cady, and there was so much truth in that. I mean, not that she said it was true, but it resonated inside of me. You see, I knew it was true when I read it. And so they started to dig deeper into what's going on in this whole idea of unity and unity principles. So Emily Cady is really, really important in this teaching. I mean, if you really like Eric Butterworth, know that he was inspired by Emily Cady. I mean, if you and there's another author that's alive today that I really like. It's J. Douglas Bodorf. And if you want to know, well, he does great books on meditation and affirmations and prayer. But if you want to know what inspired him, you ask him, and he says, I read Lessons in Truth, and that's why I've been a minister for 40 years. Written 8 books, and most of them have all of the principles that Emily was talking about. Emily Cady was a medical doctor, and she was a holistic caregiver as well, and she had some ideas around thinking. She said, if you turn your thoughts away from the external toward the spiritual and let them dwell on the good in yourself and in others, all the apparent evil will first drop out of your thoughts and then out of your life. She quotes the Bible. She says, Paul understood this when he wrote to the Philippians, finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence and if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Well, that's some old writing, and that's some old truth. And what he's saying is, hey, fix your mind on what's good. what's true, what's beautiful. Leave the rest alone. I mean, there isn't any reason to be muddying the waters of your own life. That's exactly what Emily Cady is saying in her chapter on thinking. She says, be careful about the things you're thinking about. I mean, it's very, very important. So you move forward, fast forward to Ellen Davenport. Anybody ever heard of Ellen Davenport? All right, Ellen Davenport is a modern day author. She also is involved today with the administration of the Daily Word, and she is a frequent speaker on Unity Radio, which still exists today. I heard a Unity Radio podcast recently where she was explaining some of her ideas and feelings and beliefs. And of course, she has to defend some of the things she says in her book called The Five Principles, because she took these a step further than most of the people who have been practicing Unity principles for a while. I mean, she's the first Unity minister that I know of that actually stepped into Principle 2, and when it came to describing who she is, she said, I am God. And what she really meant by that, and what she explains, is I am not the one and only, but I am that which God is. And I can express myself as being God. So I say, I am God. And she wrote a whole chapter on that. And the words are large. I am God. And explains to us how and why we can think that way, and what's really important with regard to that belief system around how we feel physically, mentally, and spiritually. Our health. It's important for us to recognize and know that we are that which is perfect, whole, and complete. And if we truly believe that, we're healthy in body, we're healthy in mind, we're healthy in spirit. So Ellen Davenport brings something new and something challenging to this world of unity. And she says things like this. She says, Principle 3, our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs have the power to create our reality. They create our reality. We choose with our focus. Whether we want it or not, if we are focused on a particular outcome, it shows up. Whether we want it or not, if we're focused on a particular outcome, it will show up. So I read that and I thought, man, oh man, isn't that the truth? And let me give you something that happens in my life, and I'm sure it happens in your life. And I wrote it in the book of Greg because it was important enough for me to read again at some point in time. And that's the criteria for the book of Greg, you know. I mean, if it's important enough to reflect on later on, then it goes in the book of Greg. And this is the way I said it. I put it in quotes because this is the way I think sometimes. I think, don't break it, don't break it, don't break it. I'm doing the dishes or something, my favorite dish is there, you know, and I'm thinking, don't break it while you wash it, don't break it when you put it in the dishwasher, don't break it when you take it out. You know, and what happens? I break it. All right. So, I mean, isn't that an interesting thought? Yes, it happens to you too. I knew it. You knew the answer to that. I break it. I think to myself as I'm walking with something that's really full, don't spill it, don't spill it, don't spill it, don't spill it. I catch my toe and boom, I've spilled it. I've spilled it on my new shirt. I've spilled it on something I don't want to spill it on. Don't spill it. How about this one? Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. In fact, I so do not want to lose it that I find a special place that I'm going to put it. I mean, something out of the way where it's not going to ever get lost. Oh, my God. So you guys are just like me. You have those things happen to you too? That's this exact principle, isn't it? I mean, this is that exact principle. I'm focusing. What's behind this? Don't break it. Don't break it. Don't break it. What's behind that? I think I'm going to break this. Or breaking it is a distinct possibility. I need to do everything I can not to break it. Well, the universe doesn't hear not. You know, the universe doesn't hear not. I mean, it just hears it's going to break. You know, and I know that. And deep inside, it seems I know it because it happens. Whether we want that outcome or not, if we're focused on it, it shows up. It's wild, isn't it? It's crazy. Do you know, there's a lot going on in this realm of of thought. There's a lot going on that we can take a hold of. There's some things that we can truly take a hold of, and in order to want to do that, sometimes we have to know a little bit about what it is that this thought thing, including feelings and beliefs, is really all about. And it is such a powerful arena that neurobiologists that work at Stanford Medical Center are talking about these things at deep levels, trying to figure out how to bring to the public some ideas that will be understandable. You heard me talk about Andrew Huberman before. Andrew Huberman, one of my favorite guys. He's absolutely magnificent because he breaks things down in a way that you can understand them. He is a relatable guy, even though he is one of the premier neurobiologists in the nation working at Stanford Medical Center. He used to be a skateboarder. He was a skateboarder, and his idol was Tony Hawk. You know, I mean, and his friends were dropping acid, and you know, they were ditching school, and they didn't have jobs because they didn't want them, and they didn't want to live in that world, you know. And now he's like the premier. He's the premier neurobiologist in the nation. And he says this. He says, positive thinking is about learning how to take control of internal processes, and understanding that will shape your external environment. It's about knowing that despite shifts in the external landscape, you're going to be okay. You know why I like that? It defines positive thinking in a way that I can do each and every day with every circumstance, because all it requires is me to know that despite what's going on anywhere in my life, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. This too shall pass. This is going to be all right. It's going to be all right. I've got support. I've got love. I've got caring people in my life. It's going to be okay. That's positive thinking. Can we do that? Yeah, we could do that. Oh, no, I'm not very good at positive thinking. Well, come on. Just know this. It's going to be okay. It might sound a bit complicated, but Andrew discusses these internal processes that can help us achieve a mental attitude that looks forward to a better and happier life. According to him, we need to understand and take control of these systems within our brain, which produce dopamine and serotonin. See, you knew it would get scientific, right? You knew that it would get scientific in nature, and it has with Andrew Huberman, but it makes beautiful sense. He says dopamine might be one of the most powerful neurochemicals in our system. It's the molecule of motivation. Dopamine is the molecule of motivation. It pushes us to have goals and to strive more. It's an innate tool that helps us propel forward. Now, this is really interesting because you probably thought that all the dopamine does is just make you feel better. But what it is something that motivates you. I mean, to regulate dopamine, Andrew talks about another internal process. This time, it involves the serotonin system, which is the regulation of the dopamine. Once you know what it's about, you'll be able to understand how positive thinking is truly possible. Andrew explains it in this way. He says, our body has another reward system, which is the serotonin system. This doesn't put us into forward motion like the dopamine does, but it tends to make us feel good. So it's the serotonin that is making you feel good. It makes us feel calm. It's the serotonin that's making us feel calm. It's not about pursuing things, but being happy with what we already have. The serotonin is trying its best to help you move into that space where you're happy with what you have. That's an important reward mechanism that nature has built in to balance the dopamine system, which is just about motivation. Because, you know, you could be unhappy about the things you have to do, knowing that you have to do them, knowing that you need motivation to do them. But without the serotonin, you're not going to enjoy them nearly as much. With both of those aspects in play, you can understand how you can live a more fulfilling life. But you know, the neat thing about this is that because Andrew Huberman has done this research with others, he knows that this is what we were meant to be. You guys don't have to live outside the box. This is how we were meant to be. Well, I guess my life was just meant to be ugly and, you know, one thing after another, and bad luck is my only, you know, that's all I can look forward to. That is not what we were meant to be. What we're meant to be is people that step into things with the love and joy and caring that a right-thinking person steps into it with. You know, this is what I wrote about what the practice is. You know, because there is this principle, and then there's how we practice it. Human beings create their experiences by the activity of their thinking. Well, what is the practice? Doggone it, what is the practice? You know, this is what happens when you bring a whole library up, you know? I love that. The practice is to do the best we can with it. How about that, you know? How about that? I know what the practice is. The practice is to think effectively. That's what the practice is. The practice is to think effectively. And the question that I have for you in that regard is, what do you want? Do you know? Do you know what you want? Or are you just wandering through, waiting for the next thing to happen? Because thinking effectively requires that you know what you want, so that you can see that space, you can feel that space, you know that you can attain it, and you can do it, be it, have it. Yeah, this practice of the principle of thinking and thinking rightly is one of the biggest practices that we have. And in order to do this, sometimes we need another strategy which helps us to move through some of the dark times. Anybody use affirmations? Do you ever find that affirmations can change the way you feel about what's going on? You know, just knowing that I am joyful. I experience the joy of life. I bring about within me the joy of living. Spirit, that joyful one, is alive and well in me, and I feel it, I know it, I am it. Those are affirmations that bring us into that place where we know what's wonderful in the moment. You know, I do that when I say, I love Sundays. I mean, that is the joy that I can bring into my heart in the moment. And it bears itself out as I look at these magnificent human beings in this beautiful congregation. So I say to you, the God in me recognizes the God in you. I love you. Namaste. Now I'm going to clean up my library mess here. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to invite Millie up to the front, please. Would you come on up, Millie? We're going to do our community giving. And I love it when you do this, Millie, because my mother's name was Millie. And not that you look like her at all. In fact, you don't. You're much younger. She was born in 1919. She passed away a long time ago, you know, but it brings up really wonderful memories, and thank you very much. Just the name does. So, Millie, yes, thank you. So she brings up two things for me. She brings up something for me to put in the basket. Let me do that first. I'm going to put something in the basket. Yes. And then we have a list of people who are actually on today. And this list includes Laura House. Laura House is here in the house. We have Charlene. Charlene from Tennessee. I hope you're doing well. Sometimes we have Audrey on. Audrey! We got her in person today. Yes. Fantastic. We have Colleen. Colleen definitely made it. We're so happy you're here. And guess who made it on? Joy Ernst. Thank you for the cookies, Joy. So this is our community giving. This is our opportunity to say thank you to a community that means something to us, to say thank you to ourselves for having enough, for doing the things that we need to do in order to be that law of circulation in action, meaning things flow through me. You know, we're a lot like, each of us are a lot like a lake. You have to have ingress and egress in order to thrive and survive, you know. So if everything we receive we just kept inside of us or kept around us or kept in our house or in our bank accounts or whatever it is, you know, we would be much like the character Scrooge. And I think that that's why the character Scrooge was written by Charles Dickens, to show us what we could be like, you know, if we just did not have that egress, which is the giving part, the service part. The goodness in our lives flows as a result of being a being that circulates. So I wish to offer this community giving statement to us, please, if you'll say it with me. God is the source of my overflowing supply, and I am grateful. Thank you, Mitch.
I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me, who am I am wisdom, I am light. I am more than meets the eye. I can be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. You are the thinkers who think the thoughts that changes things that shape your life. You are the thinkers who think the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light, the bright in someone's darkest night. I've so much more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am a thinker that thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. You are the thinkers who think the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. You are the thinkers who think the thoughts. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to change your life.
Boy, that's a line that can get stuck in your head, huh? I am the thinker that thinks the thoughts. I'll be singing it all day. Maybe all night, huh? And so we are so happy that each of us has shown up today. So happy that our tithes and treasures will be used in a way that just screams integrity. Unity of Pasadena has integrity in the way that we use our funds, the way that we use our thoughts, the way that we use our belief system, and the way that we give to the rest of the community. Not only are you giving to Unity of Pasadena, but you're giving to the rest of the community, helping a consciousness of goodness to expand beyond these walls. And we do that here at Unity of Pasadena. So we promise each and every dollar used in exactly the way it must be used in order to bring about the greatest good possible. And so it is. Amen. Thank you so much, Millyanne. Yep. So we have, who's doing our community today? Who's going to do that? Oh, come on up, Charmaine. Come on up. So good to see you. think I left it okay for you. Did I? Isn't it though?
Good morning. Almost afternoon. You've seen our vision, mission, and core values demonstrated this morning in our service. So let's take a moment to affirm them together. Would you please join with me in our vision statement? Envisioning a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Becoming that vision translates into each of us being the channel of the divine in action. Please join with me in affirming our mission. Transforming lives by living and sharing our inner truth of divine wisdom, compassion, and love using practical spiritual principles. And please join with me in affirming our core values. Creating community, living love, teaching truth, serving spirit. Today is the second Monday of the month, and hospitality is hosted by those whose last names start with DEFGHIJ. And next week is the third Sunday of the month, so people whose last names begin with KLMNOPQR are asked to provide hospitality. And please remember to arrive a few minutes early to help set up your food, and remember to stay a few minutes after fellowship to help clean up. On January 28th, Reverend Greg will be teaching the class Unity, A Way of Life from 10 to 1. This class provides the background for unity principles.
So we're going to do it on the 27th.
Oh, 27th. I'm sorry. 27th. I've had a calendar issue this week, and it'll all work out. It's all good. Nobody's going to die. This class provides the background of unity principles. It's a prerequisite if you're considering becoming a member of Unity of Pasadena, and then Membership Sunday is following on February 11th. And at that time, we will recognize our new members, and if you are interested in officially joining Unity of Pasadena, please see Reverend Greg. Gall will be returning on Saturday evening, February 18th from 6 to 8. 17th, see, there we go again. I'm having a little challenge here with my calendar. It's in your bulletin, which we're going to get to. Please see me to register in person today, or of course click on the website for credit and debit registration. These events and more are in your monthly bulletin. Of course, y'all know what that looks like. Be sure to take one home with you at some point during the month so that you have reference, and if you're not into the paper, it's on the website. You can go to events, you can go to calendar, just learn to navigate the website. It's a great resource, and it's on the What's Happening page, and there's even really cool pictures on there. You can look for yourself or your friends. Anyway, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and your day, and I will turn it back over to Reverend Greg now for the closing of today's service.
So for this ending portion, I'd like you to all stand, please. I want to let you know that after service today, which will be after we sing, what song are we singing today? I Choose Love. We're singing. After I Choose Love, if you'd like prayer for anything, for any reason, please stay seated where you are, and a prayer chaplain will come around to see you and pray with you and help move you into that next greater yet to be. So we take prayer seriously here at Unity of Pasadena, and so we have many chaplains that are available for you to provide that prayer. So if you need it, please stick around. So we're going to do the silent unity prayer for protection together, and then we're going to sing I Choose Love. So please, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine, and all is well.
Peace in my life is growing because I one time.